clearly she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The Merchant of Death.
The Merchant of Death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the report.
I mean, the trade took a little minute to happen too on the back end, on my end. Like, I had to get transferred from the penal colony to the men's prison in Moscow.
Stephen A. Smith has ignited a firestorm in the WNBA by hinting at secret DNA files tied to Brittney Griner, questioning why she continues to compete without ever facing serious consequences. If there's even a sliver of truth to that claim, why hasn't the league acted? Tonight, we pull back the curtain on one of the most controversial debates in women's basketball. Smith has built his reputation on bold, headline-making takes. But when he suggested Griner might be shielded by undisclosed records, this didn't sound like just another TV performance. It carried real weight. His trademark pauses left fans wondering, does he know more than he's saying? His target was clear: Griner's long history of physical play and the league's refusal to impose significant penalties. The reaction was immediate. Was this Smith chasing ratings, or was he exposing something bigger? Remember, this is a man deeply connected within basketball circles. When he names names, it usually means something. If whispers about medical testing during her time in Russia exist, why has the WNBA remained completely silent? That silence is exactly what Smith underlined. In sports, silence often screams louder than a press release. And when you consider Griner's dominance, the speculation cuts even deeper. At 6'9", with a wingspan that erases passing lanes, she doesn't just defend, she warps the entire game around her. A champion, an all-star regular, and one of the league's most feared paint presences. No one doubts her skill. But many question her edge. Is it pure talent or an unfair imbalance? That's why Smith's DNA remark exploded like a lightning strike. It tapped directly into a long-standing suspicion that has never been addressed.
You would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing.
To many fans, Griner already looks like a physical outlier. Add whispers of hidden testing or undisclosed files, and suddenly her dominance doesn't just look impressive, it looks suspicious. Her 2022 arrest in Russia only deepened that narrative. Detained on cannabis charges, she spent months imprisoned, until the US traded her for arms dealer Victor Bout, the infamous Merchant of Death. On the surface, it was an uneven exchange, a convicted international trafficker for a basketball star. That deal alone made the world ask just how valuable Brittney Griner really was. Speculation hasn't stopped since. If Russian officials conducted medical testing during her detainment, could that information still exist? And if so, what role did it play in negotiations? We may never know, but the questions linger. When she returned to the WNBA, the story was framed as resilience and redemption. Teammates praised her, coaches applauded her, and the league celebrated her return. But what fans noticed was how physical she still played. Screens that looked like collisions, elbows that sparked arguments, and confrontations with referees that became part of her highlight reel. The numbers backed it up. Her foul rate remains high for her position, and she's involved in as many disputes as she is blocks. That's what Smith zeroed in on. He wasn't critiquing her jumper. He was pointing at the bigger issue. Why hasn't the league stepped in? Fans crave fairness as much as highlights. And every time the WNBA stays silent, suspicion grows.
Trade took a little minute to happen too on the back end, on my end. Like, I had to get transferred from the penal colony to the men's prison in Moscow, and I got checked into there. I knew I was getting traded, but the way they were treating me and their one little last play to terrorize me or mess with me, because when they were checking me in, they had me stripped down butt naked in front of a room of like probably about 7-8 men, and they had the Polaroid and they got me spinning in a circle while they like taking photos, right, of my tattoos, because my tattoos are, whatever they are.
Then came Caitlin Clark, the most hyped rookie in decades. With record-breaking college numbers, deep-range shooting, and instant star power, she became the league's new face. Overnight. Sold-out arenas, skyrocketing TV ratings, and national headlines followed her everywhere. That spotlight inevitably brought her face-to-face with Griner. The matchup was irresistible, Clark's finesse and shooting against Griner's raw size and force. When Clark absorbed heavy contact from Griner, the debate exploded. Was this just tough basketball, or something more? Clark leads the league in drawing fouls, but against Griner, those fouls often felt like survival. Smith knew exactly where that storyline was headed. His remarks dropped right as Clark's popularity peaked, making their clash a cultural flashpoint. The WNBA's future and past colliding, with Griner in the middle of the storm. And yet, through it all, the league remained silent. No suspensions. No investigations, no public acknowledgement, just business as usual. That silence doesn't just protect Griner, it damages the league's credibility. Fans see favoritism. They see leadership afraid to discipline one of its biggest stars. They see a double standard, and the longer it goes unaddressed, the more pressure builds. When accountability finally comes, it may be too late for the league to save face.
Clearly, she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The Merchant of Death.
The Merchant of Death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out for her. You would think that you would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing.
This isn't just about basketball, it's political. Griner's story has transcended sports. She's become a cultural symbol of diplomacy, activism, and resilience. That makes her bigger than the game, and it gives her protection few athletes ever receive. The WNBA knows suspending her could trigger backlash far louder than any on-court controversy. That's why the idea of special treatment doesn't sound far-fetched to fans. Smith wasn't only questioning Griner, he was questioning the league's backbone. Every game she plays without consequence reinforces the idea that the WNBA is run not by executives, but by the stars there too, afraid to confront. And once fans believe that, credibility erodes fast. The league's sponsors, media partners, and even its own players are watching closely. The unanswered question looms large. Who really runs the WNBA, the leadership, or the stars they protect? Until that's answered, the whispers will only grow louder.